come to the bottom of the table. That's where 3 teams are battling for survival. It's quite interesting. Leicester City, just as late as 2016, they were champions of the Premier League, and here they are facing relegation. Leeds United were playing brilliantly under their manager who brought them into the Premier League. That's Marcelo Bielsa, but here they are. Things are not really going well for them at the moment. Everton, they brought in Frank Lampard. He's off now. Sean Dyche is in. Let's see how things will pan out for them. But let's get into that game where we start from Everton up against Bournemouth. That's a relegation fight this week. And let's get into the match statistics of that game. So at the moment, it's 17th versus 15th. That's the positions of Everton and Bournemouth. And Everton, interestingly, all season have won just 7 games with 12 draws, and they've lost 18 with a goal difference of -24. They're facing, I'll say, a team that matches their form, because Bournemouth themselves may have survived the relegation though, but they've won 11 games all season, drawn 6 and lost 20 games with a goal difference of -33. Everton need a win to survive at the Goodison Park. That's interesting. Ellie, let me start with you on this one. For Sean Dyche and his boys, how much of a pressure do you think they'll be under when it comes to this game against Bournemouth, who have nothing to play for as well?
They have their fate in their hands. They decide what happens to them coming on this Saturday. They don't need to look elsewhere. So their job is pretty much cut out for them. Win, get your 3 points, and stay in the league. For me, I would wish personally, if there was a way they could get relegated, it would make me so happy.
You want Everton relegated? What have they done
I
to
think
you?
it's just, for Everton and Leicester, it's just payment for the mistakes they've made.
Which are?
You appointed Frank Lampard as a manager. That's the biggest mistake you can ever make.
So because of the appointment of Frank Lampard, you want Everton relegated?
Yes.
Wow, that's quite interesting.
Not only that, but and I think Everton needs to be accountable. Like, they need, for the amounts they've spent on their team, for the money and for the signings they continue to make. At a point, they were spending to rub shoulders with the top 6 to break into those top 4 or top 6 places.
Yeah, even they had a top manager, Rafael
but they've just made a mess out of the whole thing. And they need... So I'm all for teams getting punished for those mistakes. And I would have really loved for it to happen to them. But I don't see it happening because it's too good to blow up. It's a home game against a team that have nothing to play for. Against players who have... Bournemouth for 2 weeks now are still celebrating their survival in the league. They are still in celebrating mood ahead of their trip to Goodison. We saw how Everton are when there's pressure on them. They went away to beat Brighton 5-1. That is how they can be. Last week, they fought back to draw 2-2 with Wolves. That's how... That is an Everton side when they're under pressure. So, it's just... And I actually like Leicester, even though they've also made mistakes. I would like to see them punished for, but they are a team I like personally, and I would have loved them to stay by. It's not looking good. It's not looking good for them. I think Everton have it on lock. If they blow this up, then it will be one of the biggest disappointments in Premier League history.
Well, Ima, tell me, how surprised will you be if Everton don't win this game and they are relegated?
Very surprised. Like. First of all, I don't think this is a game that they should go in looking for like anything other than a win. Like it's the game of their life. Like every single player.
A final for them.
A final for them. It even transcends a final. I don't know what you call that.
If there's something about final, you go for that word.
Yeah. So as far as the importance of this is concerned, I mean it's not a game that you will approach like you would go into wanting to like get maybe a draw. No, you are going to win. And knowing Sean Dyche and then knowing what he stands for, I don't think this is one that he would want them to blow up. Everything is they have all the cards in their hands now. They have everything in their corner to succeed as far as like approaching this game is concerned. Bournemouth, they have nothing to lose. They've been able to survive. They've rightly so. They've done good for themselves per the standard that they came into the league with, and I think they'll be okay with being in the league for another season. But then as far as Everton's objectives are concerned, I feel they've fallen way below the standards that we know them to have as a club. The fact that they kept Frank Lampard around for like that long, that long period of time, that was even problematic in itself. And the fact that they didn't really beef up their squad to a level where they will be able to compete with the mid-table clubs and all that. I mean, a whole lot of issues surrounding what happened in there. But I feel this is a game that they can't lose, and I don't think they will lose as well.
Well, so both Ima and Ellie believe that this weekend, Everton have their destiny in their own hands. They've been flirting with relegation some seasons now, but they should be able to survive this one.
At the point they'll go.
At the point, but not this weekend though. So that's their prediction as well. So we've tipped Aston Villa to win this weekend. They've tipped Everton to also win this weekend. Let's talk about Leeds United also. Under Marcelo Bielsa, they were the toast of everyone. People loved their football. They loved how they set up and all that. Patrick Bamford has not really gotten into the thick of things for them, but at the moment they come up against Ryan Mason's Tottenham Hotspur, a team that, have their own issues. Tottenham Hotspur are just in a mess. I don't know, they're trying to even convince their next manager. Everyone says, no, I don't like the manager job of Tottenham Hotspur at the moment, though. But that's the story now. Leeds United are 19th. Their destiny is not in their own hands. They come up against Tottenham Hotspur, who are 8th on the league log. Leeds United have won 7 games all season. It tells you how bad the season has been for them. They've drawn 10 games and lost 20 times with a goal difference of minus 27. And for Tottenham Hotspur, they have Harry Kane in their fold. With his goals, they have a goal difference of +4. Interestingly, 14 defeats, 6 draw games, and 11 wins all season. Final game potentially for Ryan Mason, who is the interim manager for Tottenham Hotspur. It's a game where Leeds United need a win badly and then hope for a favour from Bournemouth in order to survive as well. Can they do this? They have a chance. On a scale of 1 to 100, how will you rate the chance of Leeds United and whether they can really survive here?
I'll say 30%, 40%.
30%, 40% chance of survival.
Because it's not in their hands. They need to. You mentioned they need Bournemouth to do. They need West Ham to also do them a favour against Leicester. Yeah. Because if Bournemouth wins against Everton and Leicester win against West Ham, they are still going down. Yeah. So they need too many pieces to work in their favour, and that is why I think they are going down. It's pretty sad how they have gone down. There's a whole lot of reasons. We need another show to discuss.
Tell me some of the problems that you think that Leeds United have not managed well, and as such are in this condition. Last season they were also in the relegation fight like this. Yeah. They survived just by
final day.
Final day, yes, exactly. Yeah. And here they are again. Another. It seems they didn't learn from their last season's woes. Yeah.
It's all about the direction the club wants to go to.
Okay.
When under Bielsa, for me, I felt they were too emotional with the whole Bielsa thing. It got to a point where it was clear he had carried them as far as he could, and they needed to change hands. Now, when you are changing hands, you change hands and you appoint someone who is going to take you to the next level. But I don't think they did that with the appointment of Jesse Marsch. I thought they just brought in someone who played a similar style to Bielsa or kept a similar style to be, just to keep that continuity going on. But the thing with the clubs coming from the championship is, obviously your first season is about survival, staying in the league. But then the second season should be more. It's to make yourself an established Premier League side. You cannot survive, you cannot be consistent in the league and always be looking out for a relegation scrap and be surviving at the end. You should be more ambitious than that. I feel Leeds didn't move past that, and when all the signs were showing clearly, they failed to take the tough decision of sacking Bielsa early enough. Then from that point on, it has been downhill. No other manager has come in and properly stamped his authority on this club and taken them to the level they would wish to be. And this is a result of all the mistakes they've made. They've made some really good decisions. I mean, they were one of the teams I followed in the championship. I really loved how they played. I loved their model, and I liked what they stood for under Bielsa. But the Premier League is a different ball game altogether.
So for you, it won't work this
the Premier League, I always say this, the Premier League is not forgiving at all. You make certain mistakes as a club coming from the lower division. You are going to pay for it. And Leeds, provided how much they've spent and everything, they are still going to pay for it because they've just made too many technical decisions. Too many technical mistakes, sorry. Ellie
seems to have given up on Leeds United already, but interestingly for them also, they brought in Javi Gracia. They didn't really work. They had to let go. And they have a relegation specialist in their team now. Sam Allardyce. Everyone talks about how he's been able to help teams survive relegation. Though Ellie here says he doesn't think they will survive this one. You might let me pick your thought also on Leeds United. People also talk about their transfer policies. Yes, after surviving, they were expecting to get in more squad depth and good players. It hasn't really gone well for them. But let's look at Leeds United and this weekend. The question is, can they escape relegation once more on the final day?
Almost impossible, in the sense that, I mean, it's different if you have all the chips in your hands, right? In this case, like, it's out of your hand. Like, maybe the results might go in your favor as you would want it to be. Like, in the game that you play in, you might get the win, all right. But what happens in the other games as well? What if Everton wins? What if, how do you call it? They don't get the favor that they need from
West Ham and also Bournemouth,
yes. Yeah. So what if that doesn't go in their favor? So I think the dynamics make, like, it's not favorable for them at all. It's not favorable for them. And then the fact that I feel for them in the grand scheme of things. I feel for them in the sense that they've had a lot of issues as far as like the fitness of their players are concerned. They've had numerous injuries. Almost every week they have about 2, 3, 4 key players out of the side. Like almost every week. That's the minimum. And it's been persistent. Like it's been a recurring theme throughout the whole season. And that has really played into how far they've come and then the position that they find themselves in. As far as their chances of survival is concerned, I for one, I don't see them surviving. I don't see them surviving.
You're giving up on Leeds United as well?
Yeah. Oh. I don't see them surviving.
Quite sad. Well, we'll come back and talk about the relegation fight in a bit, but let's